Hi, I'm Peter Criff, Executive Director of the Statewide Independent Living Council.
Hi, and my name is Sarah Launderville. I'm the Executive Director of the Vermont Center for Independent Living.
And our two organizations together are responsible for writing the Statewide Independent Living Plan, which is a 3-year plan that guides programs and services for people with disabilities throughout Vermont.
We invite you to come out to one of our community forums to provide your input, or join us on our Facebook page, or call us at our 1-800 number.
And today, we're going to share some issues with you, and we'd like your input.
It sounds like a great deal of the work that you do and needs to be done is not only legal, breaking down barriers and following up on complaints, but training and information sharing and getting information to people.
Yeah.
So I imagine this next category, information referral and assistance, you're seeking input on how to make that that workflow work more effectively. What else are you interested in?
Well, I'm going to let Sarah speak a little bit more about this, but information referral and assistance is actually something kind of specific about how you access information and get referred around. And we have a wonderful system here in Vermont that is just getting better. Yeah, why don't you?
Sure. So part of the, from the Center for Independent Living, one of our core services is information and referral, and it's something that from the beginning we've done. Over the years we've expanded and joined in on partnerships, and we're part of the Aging and Disability Resource Connection, which involves all of the area agencies on aging, the Vermont Brain Injury Association. Now we're including Vermont Family Network and Green Mountain Self-Advocates, but most importantly to this topic, Vermont 211 is part of our system, and part of that work is to really make it so that if somebody calls and is looking for assistance, and VCIL picks up the phone and they think, well, it's really a better fit for one of these other organizations, that we can do that seamlessly, that we can just transfer that call to one of our partners and make it so that the person doesn't have to keep calling all these other organizations. We want to hear about how that's working for folks. Is it working? And any other feedback that they might have around how they could get better get information better, whether it's through social media, whether from other areas. So we want to hear about all of that so that we can really get information about disability rights out to the community.
And feedback on that will guide how organizations like what Sarah's working with build their response systems, especially in the categories of social media, because typically it's been phone-based, all telephone-based, which is fine. Telephone is fine, but the media choices are exploding. So it'd be great to hear feedback, especially from the younger people, about how they felt talking on the telephone, which might not be as good as an email.
That's right.
Research appears to be an important component, understanding the audience and where the needs are. So identification of the underserved areas or populations. What are you interested in that area of the plan?
Again, it's about, how we're going to put our resources, throughout when we receive this money, how does that money get divvied up? And each plan we identify sort of our underserved areas, and so that can be within a region. So in past years, the Northeast Kingdom has been identified, and the southern White River Junction right now is an underserved area, and Addison County is an underserved area. And so we're looking for feedback of, do people feel like we're reaching out to them? Do they have access to us? We're statewide, so we want to make sure that we're really connecting with folks in all areas. And then underserved populations. Are we making sure that we're breaking down some of the barriers that we have seen traditionally in the disability movement around race, around sexual orientation, and making sure that we're really connecting with all folks in our community? And so we want to hear from folks. Do you feel like we're doing a good job with that? How can we plan to do a better job with that?
Right. Or you could say, I'm X. I'm not my area is not getting any services, nor am I personally getting any services. That's what we want to hear.
What percentage of Vermont's population would you classify as folks with disabilities or part of your service area?
Yeah, so the statistics are that 20% of Vermonters have a disability. And so when we talk about disability, we talk about all different types. So there's physical disabilities, developmental disabilities, psychiatric disabilities, people who are deaf, people who are blind. And so we kind of catch that wide net of what a disability is. And 20% has been the statistics for quite some time now.
So do you possibly have the resources necessary to meet the needs of 20% of the population, as you've described their needs here?
Well, I think it depends on what is described that the needs are. So if we're talking about funding for ramps and funding for certain technologies and that sort of thing, no, we know that we don't and currently don't have the resources to be able to pay for the need that we hear from in the community. But if we're talking about how we're going to prioritize and figure out a system where folks with disabilities are joining us in that advocacy work, and that we're working together on those efforts to get the word out, to call people on it when they park in an accessible parking space they shouldn't be in, and really advocate in a different way, then I think that we could have a broader net, as Peter's talking about.
Well, I mean, there's never enough money to do all the things that we all want to do, and as Sarah has mentioned, it's an issue of priority in our plan. And let's just get better at. Let's keep making our plan better. We have a 3-year plan. This will guide our programs and services over these 3 years. But during those 3 years, the other thing about the state plan is we're supposed to monitor. How are we doing? So that presumably the information that we get from monitoring the past plan, we can actually incorporate it into the new plan, in addition to the feedback that we're seeking through this process now. So, we're looking for as much feedback, as much participation. You don't have to have a disability. This is a plan for all Vermonters. If you have a friend, a family member, or you just care, then, please join us and participate.